It's the week of the big game, and we're here to talk about all the showdown salaries, the must plays, the guys you have to have in your lineups. We'll also be talking a little bit of personal stuff, a little bit of professional stuff. Davis, you might not want to be in that conversation. So all that and more upcoming on this Swolecast, presented by RotoGrinders.com.
Jesus.
Please don't dupe me, bro.
I'm begging you, don't dupe me, bro.
It's the poop narrative.
Pigeon's been waiting to say those words.
No.
For 5 years.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Swolecast. Peter, I thought you were going to be in Arizona this week.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
So you don't get to do like the Radio Row stuff.
I could have gone out. They said I could go out Monday if I wanted to, but Dave, I don't know if you know anything about being a father, but there's kind of lots of responsibilities. You can't really leave your wife high and dry for a week to just go dick around in a large underdog bus, you know?
I mean,
Like Settlement can get away with this, but like not necessarily Peter's vibe these days.
All right. Peter, how are you doing with dad life and all the intricacies that go along with that?
It's going good. Yeah. April just turned 2 months today. So it's one of those things where it feels like she's been with us for 6 months at least. And it's only been 2, but no, very much enjoying it.
GZ.
Davis, how are you doing?
Life's great, man. We're feeling great. How are you doing? You know, you've been in these streets, bro. You've been, NBA DFS every night. Like, I know you've been crushing it. I think drafting in PGA best balls on underdog, probably like you're really a gambler's gambler, Dave.
Yeah. I haven't done anything this week, if we're being honest, except for a lot of work for corporate. I mean, that's the thing, Davis. One day maybe you'll understand. I don't know if you will.
I hope not. Like, I've sort of spent my entire adult life like trying to not be that. Yeah,
I know. But it's we got a lot of stuff going on with Better Collective US. Tuttle, as you can attest to as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I also, before I forget, we had a settlement mention, and I was curious, NBA trade deadline coming up. Do we got some inside info anywhere? Or?
Now, he said something to me
Did he drop the sources game or what? Like, what's going on with that?
This is funny you mentioned that because I said something snarky to him the other day, and then he replied to me with something like, I have a contract ending soon that'll let me get back in the source game. And I'm like...
I've been itching for some inside info.
I mean, to be fair, I think if we are going to be fair and balanced on this program, to Jack, wasn't he right? Was it like the one thing he quote unquote?
No, he's done. He got there was a few different ones.
I think the first one he did right.
It was Harden. The right one. It was Harden, and he was right.
And there's like some Chris Paul ones that he tried to.
I remember the Chris Paul one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when you're playing pickup basketball, and some guy shoots a 3, and it's like you almost don't want it to go in because if it goes in, he's just going to be shooting the rest
I wonder if Soccer Dave is speaking from personal experience. Dave, that was a very good metaphor.
That was a great analogy. That every kitchen tweet or every settlement tweet is now just a heat check from half court.
To be fair, he's great at it, and he does he words it very well where he's never going to actually be wrong because he leaves himself lots of outs with it. So he's mastered it, honestly.
Hey, God, real quick on literal heat checks, actual basketball. It was last night. I think I'm scrolling through TikTok and I saw the 3-point shot that Damian Lillard had the other day, where he was like literally at half court, flat footed, picked up the ball. I was crying, laughing. I just couldn't believe it. It was the most casual chuck I've ever seen.
That's why he's Damian Lillard's
but there's still time on the shot clock and everything. Like he just casually threw it there and hit it.
That's because it's your cousin's the GM, right?
He is
doing great things there.
Him.
Yeah.
But it was the hilarity of it. It was like there's the 3-point line, then there's deep threes, then there's comically deep threes, and then there's what Damian Lillard did. It was just so absurdly far out.
We had a lot to get into with this Super Bowl game, but there are other stuff going on. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't even looked at salaries for this Super Bowl game.
No,
mind is blown.
We sort of assumed
David, what two teams are playing? What two teams
Eagles and Chiefs. Like I know the Eagles and Chiefs are playing.
I like how you said that as if you wanted credit for actually knowing.
Yeah. Like I said it really quick too. I didn't even have to think about it.
Okay, no, this is a great.
Yeah, if you ask me like injury report stuff,
no, this is even better. Who do you think the sixth most expensive player is? Right. So if you think about it logically, right, you got the two quarterbacks. You got Kelsey. You got Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. Right.
Yeah.
So this is a great one.
Yeah.
Actually, and this is finally good. We could do Lauden thinks here. Who do the three of us think David thinks the sixth most expensive player is? I'm going to say David believes the sixth most expensive player is...
Hold on. Do you want me to write
it down? Every time
you
think you're going to play it, we got to write these down ahead of time if we're actually doing this.
Okay. All right.
I don't have anything to write with because we're moving offices. So I'll just type it in my notes. All right.
Okay. I got mine.
All right, I got mine.
I didn't write mine down, but I don't have to.
You can go first. You can go first, Tuttle.
I gotta wait for David.
Okay.
Do you have it? Okay.
He thinks Juju.
Okay. I think he thinks McKinnon.
Jack Stoll.
Well, why I'm actually shocked
right.
Why I'm actually shocked is David is correct, which I would have laid like plus 300. He would not have gotten that.
I don't get Davis. You don't give me enough credit for being 159th in the best ball streets to being one of ChatGPT's best DFS players to be like.
Well, David, are you aware I've got a team that's live to win the mitten?
No. How much is the top prize there?
It's like 0.3 Caranes.
Dude, we need to start to. It's probably like 0.03 Caranes.
Yeah, 0.03 Caranes. Yeah, it's 0.03 Caranes.
He just needs Clyde to find the end zone.
I think if Clyde outscores Gainwell, that's sort of my mental math is that because that would have been the corresponding picks for a lot of the teams that could have gotten there.
So if it's 0.03, you're talking about like 67,000 then?
45,000, I think.
That's not even 0.03. He won 2 million.
All right, well, come on, David, come on. This is like I got
0.025.
This is like it's putting me back in JPEG mode, thinking of all these decimals. Yeah, no, we're it's look, it's water created the Grand Canyon over time, and that's how eventually we're going to catch up with Kareem.
Okay, did you see? The whole script thing has been absolutely ridiculous, but also kind of entertaining, right?
Well, you know that Arian Foster stole that bit from Patrick Laird, who did that on Peter and I's show first.
Oh, I did not know that, but now
give the Takecast credit.
Dead ass. The same day that this Arian Foster clip starts going around, Peter and I did a
okay.
show.
Well, but everyone's talking about the script. Everybody, at that point.
Even Foster.
No. This was before. This was before.
No,
Davis,
I recuse myself.
I want to believe you. I want to believe you, Davis.
I'm not telling to give Peter and I credit. I'm saying to give Laird credit. Laird is funnier than Arian Foster.
Yeah, on your show. Anyways, somehow this like the leak of this upcoming game script I don't know who tweeted out there, but it was 37-34.
Yeah, was that photoshopped or what's going on there? It was a Pro Football Reference page, right?
It was some. I think they may have photoshopped it. Yeah, the Pro Reference page that the script had already leaked, and I saw like the fourth most put down bets as far as bets goes, like 70. Was it 70-1 for the exact score? 80-1, 37-34. How awesome is that? Just from like an entertainment standpoint,
it'd be fun if it happened.
Like everyone puts $10 down, and then like it's 34-34, and they're about to kick a field goal, and everyone's just going nuts. Like,
here's the issue though: if that was the script and they knew the script was leaked, wouldn't they change the script? Yeah, so they don't lose lots of money.
They would. Yeah, they would. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got enough time. They got enough time before the game. Like, they could call another meeting at the hotel the night before.
All right, let's start off though by getting some predictions. Davis,
are we not going to do an Overzets overview to really set the table here, or what? Or am I writing these jokes for nothing?
I'm sorry, Peter. I'm really sorry. I'm scrambled. So
without further ado, phone in this show, but some of us are actually still here grinding, holding a baby, and writing jokes on our phone with one hand in the morning to get ready for the show.
So without further ado, please, let's get to the Overzets overview.
I never know if we have intro music or not.
No.
Never know. Also, can you come on and just confirm one way or another if there's intro music?
Oh.
Okay, we do have music. We have music. All right. And I did ask Sosa for a little tech help on one of these, so I hope you're paying attention, buddy. All right. RotoGrinders moved into a new office this week, and things are looking a little bit different than the old parking lot. Paparazzi recently spotted Derek Carty strolling into the office here. And also, we have to appreciate how boomer this post is from Kitchen. This is a screen share.
I knew someone was going to say
video he posted to his Instagram stories. Kitchen, this footage is on your phone for you to directly upload.
I wanted to fly the Concords in the background.
You couldn't figure out.
Oh my God. All right. Thank you, Sosa. Tom Brady posted a semi-nude photo on Twitter this week, which prompted Tuttle to say that I would be the DFS tout most likely to post photos online in their boxer briefs, which does lead me to believe that Tuttle has closed his eyes and pictured me in boxer briefs, which feels good.
Hell yeah.
Inaccurate. Randone way more likely than Peter.
Dude, do not steal my joke. Literally written down. It's actually like -900 that Randone has already done this, but I'll never know because I'm still blocked. How is that Power Rangers NFT doing, by the way, Chris? All right. Davis is, of course, on pins and needles this week with his beloved Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl. If they lose, it will easily be a top 5,000 worst day of his life.
That's inside baseball.
Yeah, and I actually heard that Davis has hit up Donna Kelsey. I don't know if you can pull this up, but he was wondering if he could get a Cowboys Chiefs version of the Donna Kelsey. Davis.
Luckily, I don't think
Cowboys side will be just a sleeve right now.
Well,
Davis is almost fur cheap.
I don't think with the news that Kellen Moore has vacated the premises that we're going to ever have to worry about the Cowboys making a Super Bowl.
I really do want a Cowboys Chiefs Super Bowl so we can get the narrative all week of Davis Mattek can't lose, guys. He really can't lose. All right. Thank you, Sosa. Once again, you're crushing it. Rumor has it that Better Collective is actually evaluating this specific Swolecast show to determine whether they should continue funding it through the off season. And there's some internal whispers that the road to 10K is starting to feel like the Pan-American Highway. And yes, I Googled what is the longest road in the world. Please, we are begging you to like and smash the subscribe button.
Subscribe, please. We need it.
Davis did have to get asked to submit his time card once again this week. So maybe he's willing to do the Swolecast pro bono, regardless of what happens to the future of the show. And of course, finally, I realized I buried the big lead, the big game everyone is excited about. We are less than 10 days away from the Vegas Vipers and the Arlington Renegades kicking off the XFL season. And it's actually getting a little tough out in the XFL thought leader streets. Many of them are worried about live scoring potentially not being ready for the XFL launch. But today we're going to cover it all. Our favorite punt plays in the XFL, the QBs to stack, and whether the Houston Roughnecks can continue their dominance. Back to you, Dave.
The desperation in Levitan's voice about potentially no live scoring, and then like tweeting it out, trying to get the mob on.
I would have gone with Cody Main. Cody Main sweating it way more than Levitan, to be honest. Cody Main is like, is this? He's the
quote
king
tweeting
of the
everything. Is this true? Is this true? Like, oh, can't be true. And
can you imagine sweating that
down, guys?
That'd be so miserable.
No.
XFL DFS was fun.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying DFS without live scoring would be terrible.
Oh, it would be you wouldn't play. It would just be unused. It would be unplayable. I'll be there. I will the Battlehawks home opener whenever that happens. I'm going. I went to the Battlehawks home opener, 6 days before COVID shut down the United States or whatever.
Touching grass.
So I know it's a different league, but the USFL, are they with like Peacock or whatever? Maybe because I feel like I
want to say it's the opposite. I want to say USFL is Fox and XFL is NBC Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. I feel like it's the NBC one, so maybe it's XFL then. They have that ad that just looks like a video game, and it took me like 30 times watching the ad to actually put together that it's the football league and not video.
Was this on
game.
TikTok?
It's terrible advertising is basically what I'm trying to say. The other thing I wanted to say before it gets lost, Pete mentioned Donna Kelsey. She's getting so much love that I thought for sure she was a single mom. Like I really thought the dad was dead. And this is not like this is not just an
Tuttle is just always trying, like he's always trying to get us canceled. It's like unbelievable, like the most.
No, I thought
story.
she was. Well, I thought that was like the clamor behind it was like this awesome, strong single mom raised these two
I assume
strong-willed
their
boys.
Dad just doesn't want to do TV. I assume he's just like.
Well, I'm not alone in this though, because if you like Google, like one of the top searches will be like, "Do the Kelsey brothers have a dad?" Basically, like. So I'm not alone in this thought. I'm justified in it.
I love this.
So much
Things that keep Tuttle up at night.
Okay, more interesting question to me is
what about Ed Kelsey?
Yeah, what about Ed? Give Ed Kelsey his justice, man.
Do they have another brother? Is it just the two of them, or is there another one? Because I'm
like
always
a Cooper
interested.
Situation.
Well, I always find the fail son to be the most interesting. Like he's got to just have a tough time. Like Cooper Manning.
They just have two. I think it's just two.
Cooper Manning has got to be a deeply unhappy man, right? Like he really just does.
Speaking of that, this is just loosely related about like the forgotten brother. I saw a TikTok interview the other day with Mark Cuban's brother. It was telling a story about the first time the Mavs went to the Super Bowl that he hit, or the Super Bowl, the NBA finals, that he hit up his brother, Mark, for free tickets and then flipped those for cocaine. And that's how we used the tickets. I was like, this is what happens to the forgotten brothers.
Like the forgotten brother or sister or whatever. It's a fascinating angle.
There's literally a movie scene with this in there. What is the movie? I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's got like.
Are you talking about Fredo?
No, it's a kids movie. I want to say it's not Elf. I don't think it, but it's like Bill Clinton's brother. If you know it in the chat, please let us know. It's like Bill Clinton's brother, Roger Clinton, Alec Baldwin's brother, and some. Oh, it's the Santa Claus movie where it's Santa Claus's brother.
Fred Claus.
Fred Claus. Yes, that's it. That's the scene. But it's a support group.
Movie, but I just remember that.
It's a support group for failed brothers, basically. And Vince Vaughn goes in there and says he's Santa Claus's brother, and everybody thinks that he's making fun of them. Anyways, There is an actual support group for that. Okay, moving on. Davis, we talked about Kellen Moore. We got some offensive coordinator stuff just to get to real quick. How do you feel about Brian Schottenheimer as the new Cowboys OC?
Well, I mean, I think that this is going to be good for me personally because this will do a really good job of I will just be able to completely quit the Cowboys now. Like the idea that Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer are going to be involved here. It's like, there's just no reason to root for this team. They are completely unserious. They just stink. So I think it's good for me. Obviously, don't draft any Cowboys in fantasy football next year.
I thought for sure that Eric Bieniemy was going to be the guy in Tennessee because they had
didn't they hire another guy with a creative name like who no one even knows?
Well, it's a guy named Tim Kelly, and they brought him over
create a name
from the Texans last year as their passing game coordinator. So literally he was already in the system last year.
That Texans to Titans pipeline. I mean, sparks are flying. Who's going to be the quarterback for the Titans next year, Dave?
Well, that's what they were saying, that Tannehill's now he's really open to it. And me personally, I'm on the tank bandwagon for next year. I want them to roll out Malik and just tank. And then see what they can do. Or this new OC, Rand Carthen, or this new GM rather, I want him to just mortgage the farm for Bryce. And
wait, you don't want him to mortgage the farm for his former love, Trey Lance?
Well,
Trey Lance,
I don't think Trey Lance is going.
He's going to be cheaper to get than Bryce Young.
I don't think Trey Lance is going anywhere because of this UCL injury.
The Niners wouldn't turn down a grandfather offer for Trey Lance. I'll tell you that.
What's a second round pick or third round pick for him? That price may have gone up, but I would rather Bryce be the future of the Titans, I think. And just leverage.
Are we going to talk about the Super Bowl, or are we going to talk about the Titans offensive?
No one cares about the
bored
Super
with
Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
David learned who the sixth most expensive guy was, and he's like, all right, that's good enough.
I didn't learn who it was. I predicted who it was.
Well, if we don't talk about the Super Bowl, you could get arrested for your cold open being just total clickbait. You said we were going to go through the best plays, how to construct showdown lineups.
Plays. We still got 36 minutes, though.
We need a Soccer Dave bet of the game.
I tried to get you guys' prediction, and you
skipped over the Overzet's overview, bud.
Yeah.
Details.
We can do the prediction thing now if you want.
Yes, please.
37 to 34.
Yeah,
Tuttle, the script was
Tuttle.
leaked.
What do you think? I'm very interested.
I think Eagles win. I think most likely scenario is close game. I think for DFS, I think it makes more sense to just build a lopsided victory. Because I think
by the Eagles,
Eagles or honestly Chiefs would be the more contrarian move because they're never attractive DFS pieces outside of Kelsey and Mahomes.
The Eagles only have 4 guys who score fantasy points for real. So Eagles 5-1s are going to be really uncommon in.
I think they'll be uncommon, but not as uncommon as KC 5-1s. But yes, I think Eagles 5-1s are my favorite builds. But they're priced in a way that they're easy. It's pretty easy to obtain. I still think it will be a less duplicated path. But yeah, 5-1 Eagles onslaughts are my favorite DFS builds currently.
What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I'm on the Eagles train as well. I do think I might almost hedge myself. I placed a big bet on the Eagles, but I do think the 5-1 Chiefs onslaughts and showdown are going to be really not utilized just because the value I think is funneling people a bit more to the Eagles stuff. And people, I think when people hear the name like Boston Scott and Gainwell, they just have more positive associations than when they hear fucking Justin Watson and Noah Gray. So I think it's gonna be one of those things where I'm on the Eagles in the betting markets and probably rolling out a ton of 5-1 Chiefs in showdown.
So I think you are correct about the ownership stuff in the big contest, but in single entry or 3 max stuff for the Super Bowl, which is all pretty good sized. All the button clicking nerds, all the ETR subscribers, all the people who have the blitz. These people are playing Noah Gray. These like Noah Gray in the Spy is good. Noah Gray in the Spy.
I'm sorry, I hadn't heard of this Noah Gray Steve until right now.
It's just because of the pricing.
It's because of the pricing and because of, I mean, he plays like 60% of the snaps. Like he just is like, I mean, remember Kendall Blanton in the Super Bowl last year? Kendall Blanton got steamed basically and barely played, but like Noah Gray is, I mean, it's a little bit different because the Rams and the Bengals were like the all-time Super Bowl of like these teams do not play any extra guys, whereas the Chiefs rotate their guys around. The Eagles really only play their starters. I mean,
Quez Watkins, baby.
It's Quez and Jack Stoll that are the guys who are going to be less than, let's say, 8% owned to have the ability to get in the optimal. Quez is Noah Gray on the Eagles. He plays about 50% of the snaps, but just never gets the ball.
Yeah. I withheld the tweet I was going to send out after the games that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the most overowned player relative to actual projection because of his production throughout the playoffs. I didn't tweet it because he still scares the shit out of me. Like he's good. But I think he'll be overwhelmed. Yeah, Gainwell will be overowned, I think, relative to what his expected workload would be.
Well, let me just get my terrible take off my chest then. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got activated off the IR. McCole Hardman went on the IR. He's what is he, 1,000 or 1,200? McKinnon's role went, I mean, basically just like stopped existing last week. They targeted Pacheco 6 times in the passing game. He played his greatest amount of snaps of his entire career because he's a rookie last week. And the Chiefs also have done this twice in a season-ending game where they just switched their running back order, right? They brought in Derek Gore, then they sat him, then they brought in Darrell Williams, then Clyde played ahead of him. Then if you go back to the 2019 Super Bowl, same thing. So I think I'll call it greater than 1%, less than 10% that Clyde is the passing down back, or at least red zone-ish back here, the way he was the first 2 months of the season with Pacheco playing the early downs. But I think Clyde will be sub 5% owned in all contests. So that's my
trying to think of some of the more absurd things that would happen that could just change the whole offseason as far as like drafts go. Like someone just going off.
Tony 6 for 115 and a touchdown, and he's a 4th round pick next year.
Or Sky Moore just going off and everybody saying, I told you, and then him just getting steamed this summer. Sky having the Sammy Watkins Super Bowl. What Watkins had 6 for 96 and a touchdown in the 2019 Super Bowl. I mean, that is like the worst case scenario for me, probably.
The one I could see happening, it's not as drastic as like the sleeper getting thrust up, but I could see like if Devonta Smith has another big game and AJ Brown has a dud, I could see Devonta Smith flipping AJ Brown in drafts next year.
Yeah. I could see that. I mean, I think it's a bit ridiculous that for this contest that AJ Brown and Devonta Smith basically project the same ownership wise. I mean, I know that on the basis of like Smith has actually out targeted him. I think the last 8 weeks they've played, but just in your mind, like, aren't you it's just like AJ Brown's just better, like it's like AJ Brown is just better than Devonta Smith and has, I think, more like true high-end outcomes. And maybe that's not even true in the data. Leone would tell me like, actually, when you're but it just intuitively, it just feels like AJ Brown and Devonta Smith should not have the same ownership projection.
I'm going to be martingaling AJ Brown and losing money for the 3rd straight week.
Why not?
Let's make a team.
Hold up, there was a comment in chat here, and see, I think this was the common thought, and I think it's a little. Look at his
PFF grade though. I had the same thing where I was like, oh my god, McKinnon kept Mahomes so safe in that game, and it was.
That's what I did last game.
It was his worst pass blocking grade of the year, which is like, I mean, you can say there's a variance in PFF grades or whatever, but it's unlikely that they're just like making shit up.
Yeah, and for the audio only viewer or listeners, the comment was McKinnon's pass protection is too important to them, especially with Mahomes' ankle. And that was my take leading into the last game too. Like I thought, okay, this will be the game. We'll see more McKinnon. Even though I looked into the pass grades, there was a lot of narrative around Mahomes being like, this is my guy that's good at pass protection. But yeah, that hasn't been the case if you look at it.
He was famously invited to Mahomes' wedding, even when he was technically a free agent. McKinnon was, which was one of the reasons why we drafted him all offseason.
Yeah, I will say that pretty clearly is the spot where you want to take risks, though, is the Casey running back situation, because if you hit that right,
Rojo,
then it'll go.
Well, I don't think
McKinnon.
Rojo's not going to be active, right?
Yeah, he's going to be. Well, we don't know.
We're not going to. What if they do, like right before, and everyone's just scrambling?
The year of Crane.
It's Rojo or Clyde, and it doesn't make any sense for them to activate Clyde off the IR if they're not going to play it, because they, as we learned when what's his name, DeMar Hamlin, when he got hurt, guys get paid less when they're on the IR, so it's actually costing Kansas City a little bit of money to activate him, which leads me to believe.
Well, they could also be playing mind games though with them. You know?
Yeah, you really got a game plan for the difference between Clyde and Rojo. I mean, to answer my prediction, I think the Eagles are a better team, but Mahomes is the greatest player to play the game. So if he just is that good, you know, there's nothing the Eagles can do if Mahomes has a great game. You just lose when he's that good.
Okay. Let's make a team, shall we?
Please do not dupe us, bro.
I just want people to know, the rent seekers out there, some incredible free rolls this week over on DraftKings. There's the 10K Big Game Showdown presented by GNC. There's a 10K Guinness Time Challenge. There is a KFC free Sunday night series. There is a Jack Daniels Final Football Face-Off and a very ambiguously titled NFL 50K NFL Playoffs free contest series. So over $100,000 up for grabs here. You don't need a big bankroll to win a showdown contest.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be a gosh darn fool to not be maxing these free rolls.
Yeah.
There's also a free roll. You guys are all missing it. It's the RotoGrinders.
You have
Super
to be
Bowl.
there in person?
Yes.
No, rip off.
Yes, you do.
Disgusting.
Yes, you do. Well, maybe you guys should actually
I feel
come
bad
to the
now.
Super Bowl party.
I'm missing out.
RotoGrinders has really
Disgusting.
changed lately.
No, it hasn't, Peter, because they did the same thing whenever you came a couple years ago.
But
They sent the link out, and they sent out the link.
I entered it. I remember because I entered it, and you were like,
"David,
you're not supposed to be in this."
Yeah, see, I don't believe Kitchen right now. DB won't leave us hanging.
Don't leave us hanging, DB. We work too hard
It's
on this
literally
show
a
to get
perk.
left out.
It's literally a perk to come to the Super Bowl party, to which you all received a very prestigious invite. All right, let's create a team, though, please. And also, the contest is on FanDuel for the RG. So, not giving away my team.
So the three people who can log into their account will get to play.
I think we should, since Soccer Dave has been grinding this slate so hard and thinking about all the edge cases, I think we should give him first pick.
Yeah. Give us
I'm
your
just gonna
Travion
go
Williams pick of the game.
Oh,
yeah. There is David.
Britton
There is
Covey?
a Travion. There. Wow, damn it, Tuttle. I was gonna say how long would it take Soccer Dave to figure out who the Travion Williams?
No,
is?
he was in our NFL chat. We were giving him shit about it the other day in the projections chat.
And when he says that, he means he actually added me in the channel to let me know how wrong I was. So let's go with AJ Brown. You know what?
I like it. It's fun.
Alpha is going to show up. A little
You
bit
want him as
upset.
captain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Sosa chiming in from 4,000 underneath the sea, the ocean floor.
Jacques Vaughn logging in.
Bro's in his submarine down there.
So I got this other take too. I think that correlation between AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, both in captain and in flex with Jalen Hurts, is going to be like turbo. Like I think it's going to be like an insane amount of like almost like Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford levels of overlap. So I really like playing AJ Brown and Devonta Smith in captain with no Jalen Hurts, for obviously not for correlation purposes, but for uniqueness.
Like maybe Boston Scott throws him a big pass and he goes 80 yards.
Or how about Jack Stoll, bro? Philly special.
I will say, I don't hate that line of thought. If you do go that route, I think you probably play Eagles defense, right? Because like, what are the scenarios where AJ Brown's getting there?
I think you play Miles Sanders. It's a game where Jalen Hurts doesn't rush for a touchdown, basically.
Right, but that's also going to be correlated with the defense keeping things
sure.
tighter, making plays.
Same difference.
I mean, there's two angles. You could play it as the extreme shootout too, right? Where Hurts gets his 25, Mahomes gets 30.
That becomes the same game parlay where it's like Jalen Hurts' 29 points is good, but there are multiple cheap guys who score enough where it's like, yeah.
Exactly.
So you do like Mahomes, Kelsey, and then two really cheap guys or something.
Yeah.
Peter, why don't you go ahead and pick?
Well, I'm gonna do my play here, and I'm gonna do Eagles defense. We're gonna play this as an Eagles smash.
Okay.
Sorry, Davis. I know that hurts to hear,
buddy. It's all good. It's we're free rolling. Remember, his ankles hurt. Tuttle.
Yeah, well, I'll take the Miles Sanders angle then too, if we're going Eagles D there.
Look at this, us building a logic line of building off of each other's ideas. Now up to Dave to continue the trend.
No, I'm taking Mahomes.
It's Davis.
I'm taking Mahomes. So we have 13.8 left, 6.9 left per slot.
Okay, so
very easy to fit two Chiefs pass catchers in here.
This is where we get a little bit tricky with it. Jody Fortson.
I think there's one obvious
$200.
There's one obvious way to close this lineup out that is like both good and not deduped, and deduped, I think.
Okay. I kind of want to take Sky Moore.
That is not good.
Just to get sexy with it.
There's another guy who's going to play more snaps than Sky who is cheaper.
Okay. Let's go with Noah Gray.
It's one of the options.
And then at this point, you jam Kelsey and you still leave 2K on the table.
I think the optimal way to finish this would have been Justin Watson and Travis Kelsey, because I think there's a little bit of Noah Gray, Travis Kelsey negative correlation, but both seem fine.
600.
I will go on the record and say, like, if you're playing the extreme large field stuff, like, yes, you want to worry about dupes to some extent, but you're going to be duplicated. Like, you don't have to be
just chop it.
Extremely stupid.
No, total, bro. This is brain dead. There's a huge difference between.
Nope.
So for example,
you're going to try to compare a 100,000 person field contest with a 470,000.
No, I'm going to compare the two Super Bowls before, both of which were greater than 350,000 entries. Last year, 10-way chop, pretty good, right? That's roughly $100,000 per people. The Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl, 765 person chop, less than $20,000 per person,
but it was a great night in the Run Pure Discord.
You're saying exactly what I'm saying.
No, there's a huge difference between being duped 700 ways and being duped 10 ways.
Yes, you don't let me finish my points ever. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Is you have to worry about dupes to like the most extreme extent, but you don't have to go out there and leave $11,000 on the table to try to run some crazy ass lineup just so you're not going to be duped. You obviously want to limit the high end dupes, but like you're going to be duped is what I was saying.
What's your favorite way to eliminate dupes? in this.
Again, lopsided build is the best way, in my opinion, on this slate.
To Tuttle's point, when I was talking to Justin, his thought was pretty similar, that he thought like the lineups that will be mega duped will be even further duped just because people will get funneled to it. But that like a lineup that was already somewhat unique isn't going to get funneled extra lineups on it. It's going to be all the normies coming in and piling in on the 100 best lineups or whatever.
The button clickers. Yeah. The top, let's say top 1,000 lineups or so are going to get duped way more than normal even. But the 5,000th best lineup is not going to get duped 100 times instead of 10.
Right. Like if you have a lineup you normally play in 100,000 contest that's going to be duped 5 times, in this one, it's not going to be duped, 20 times just because it's that much bigger.
It'll be duped like 11 times or something.
Yeah.
So would you want to run out like 500 lineups and then just like completely ignore the first 100 lineups and use?
Are you max entering with your family? How are you getting 500?
He's saying like you so you do your
optimize
sim
for 500.
and you have. So that's actually the way the high end bros used to do it. This was like what Leone and these guys were doing in like 2019 is they were running out like the top 500. Well, maybe not exactly that, but it was roughly like seeing just those most duplicated lineups and then going to a subset below that. But I think the people who are max entering now are so far beyond that level that's not GTO anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's other things like looking at.
There are other things. It's true.
Potential situations for Gardner Minshew.
No, we're not.
I saw that Gardner Minshew and Kadarius Toney have the same odds to win MVP of the Super Bowl. So
what's
Kadarius Toney is
because like, all right, I don't want to get too far into Galaxy Brain stuff.
Mr. Travion Williams doesn't.
But this is a rushing quarterback, right? I mean, things
who is playing with an injury that we know of.
Things can happen. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Live a little. With your 1 and 150 lineup.
So I think, Dave is like in the 2017 version of Showdown, talking plays where it's really just all strategy now.
It's all strategy.
Yeah. And it's basically jumped from doing what Davis was saying to like now you intentionally play bad in some spots to try to reduce those duplicates. So different negative correlations, right? So like what's a negative correlation that you typically wouldn't play that you would be fine with in a game like this? Like the easy one would be like 2 running backs from the same team.
Eagles defense and Mahomes has got to be the best one.
Yeah, where you're playing. Yeah, I think defense.
And people are. I think even I would say even a majority or at least a plurality of people doing 150 max are not adjusting for that.
And we've also seen, I would say, across both Hurts and the Eagles pass catchers, and then Kelsey and Mahomes, all of those guys can have an alpha game that's uncorrelated with their teammates too. So like playing those guys as the 1 and the 5 side in the captain too. I think you could do that. With all of those guys and have that hit.
Tuttle, have you seen the sneak peek of the Showdown HQ tool?
Yeah, Jamino's was messaging me about it a while ago. It's gonna be a cool tool when it's finished. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's got uniqueness score, projection score, and then
that is cool.
Nice.
Dave, what sort of
in a 30, you could put in the score also, and it would spit out the lineups that would correlate with that score or within that range of scoring.
What's your menu plan for like your action for the Super Bowl? Like, what kind of contests you're entering? Like,
I was more curious about literal menu because I thought Kitchen's eyes lit up right there.
I was privy to the conversation about what's being served at the Super Bowl.
No, I wonder what your Super Bowl action is going to be like.
I will have from the bathroom.
Yeah, I will have a few lineups on DK, on FanDuel. Obviously, going to use our handy dandy parlay IQ tool that we have, where you can send bets straight.
Yeah, I was going to say how many same game parlays are you firing? Can you do live in-game same game parlays?
Well, it depends on the site, but like they'll give you like preset live in-game same game parlays, if that makes sense.
Those are probably really plus EV. I would imagine. I'm driving across the border Sunday morning. I'm going to go to Illinois and go fire a bunch on the legal books. Well, it's like I can do. Obviously, I have like access to stuff here at home, but it's just kind of nice to fire a big juicy, losing 300-1 parlay on a bunch of different sites.
If you're gonna lose, it's nice to let the government know that you're losing. It's kind of what you're saying.
Well, there are reasons for that.
So we were talking about all the offers, and like FanDuel is rolling out a $3,000 deposit or a $3,000. I don't want to misspeak on how you say it, but basically a free bet.
Free bet, yeah.
First time for new users.
First time, and it was funny because we were talking about that, and all of a sudden Tuttle popped in and goes, "Oh, so $3K really?"
You haven't already.
I know what you were thinking. Grandma needs a FanDuel account.
No, I was just surprised because they've always been capped at 1K was the highest, and then it's been going down. Except for new states.
I want to say it was maybe our buddy Jeff Edelstein, basically saying like this is a huge push from all these sports books for customer acquisition stuff because this is so many states have been onboarded since last Super Bowl. This is like the most bet on thing. If they go really big right now, they can probably get a huge wave of signups.
And if Gronk misses the kick, everyone thinks that they'll probably still credit people just so they have a good experience.
What's the Gronk thing?
He's got to make a field goal.
They're doing instead of a commercial.
They're
doing a live for FanDuel. How have you missed this, Davis?
I don't know the details either. Don't feel left out, Davis.
I don't
but
really.
You should know that at least he's kicking a field goal. Like that's.
I know
he's
kicking a field goal, but I don't. And it's like $10 million is involved to some degree.
Yeah. So, but basically, if he makes it, everyone is going to get a cut of that. Is it 10 million or 100 million? I don't know what it is. But if
everyone who deposits.
Everyone who's a part of this contest. So if he misses it, they think that they'll just go ahead and say, okay.
Because of all entitled bettors these days.
Yeah, I need what's the Overzet take on that? On the void bets.
Fuck these people. These people, I'm absolutely sick of all of it. I'm sick of the voiding, and I'm sick of the people complaining about the voiders. It's all bad, man.
You realize that everything's turned around where we're the boomers now, though.
Yes.
Back in my day, they didn't void bets.
I mean, back in my day, you used some sketchy offshore that was like 50-50 to pay you out if you won. And if you did get paid out, you were either taking Bitcoin Cash or they were going to send you a check from Taiwan. It's like these kids, they have no idea.
They're the same people who got MMA late swap removed, and now they're down so bad that it's back.
Wait, MMA late swap was removed and is back again?
It's back as of last
Why is
Saturday.
it back again?
Because enough people complained that it was ruining the sport, and they must have been feeling it in the contest sizing. Someone, the MMA thought leaders could speak on it better than me.
No, late swap's gone.
Back. Sorry, late swap is now gone. They introduced it. Sorry, but they brought it in and then changed it back as of last week.
No, it's because it was an absolute disaster.
They just messed everything up.
It was very poorly
facilitated. Does FanDuel still have late swap for NBA, or it's gone?
They still have late swap.
I've not played NBA on FanDuel, I think, since the drop score season.
That was fun. It was kind of fun.
What a cool innovation that was. Like, crazy that FanDuel was the site that came up with it, and then crazy that they took it away.
Remember when NBA DFS? We were old enough to remember when NBA DFS wasn't dead. When having projections was good. Daily roto projections were all you needed, and you were good to go.
It was amazing. Yeah, tough scenes, man.
Then Davis got in charge of the NBA projections.
I don't even have access to them. That is, I literally not only do I not have access. I don't think I've even ever been sent the link to get in. Like I couldn't even do it.
The streets are so hard now. It's like there'll be like a injury scratch after lock 20 minutes before the game starts, and that player will still be like 80% owned.
I saw the Warriors situation
Cam
a couple of
Thomas.
nights ago.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, that was like classic Carlos Boozer, is starting, but the only account that tweeted that Carlos Boozer was starting was an account with 37 followers and a dildo in the profile picture. I mean,
those were the days.
People simply, they just do not remember the Wild Wild. What a great time that we got to be alive for.
So for those, we had a town hall, a BCUS town hall, and there were about 200 people on it yesterday, Tuttle.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, and they asked me to do the employee spotlight about myself. Put together a slide
deck. Spotlight yourself.
Yes, they asked me to put together like a slide deck on myself. So really, I spent quite a bit of time, but it was fun going through all the old clips, all the old stuff.
Can we do a screen share? Can you kind of do the presentation, that part of it for us?
It was long. You don't want.
I want an abbreviated version. I saw some of the screenshots of these slides. I think the people want to see these, Kitchen.
So I don't have access to the pitch deck because it was deleted because I went to try to look for it last night. But it was like the same old. There we go. So Tuttle's not in that shot as far as like the first show.
Me dressed up as Tuttle is, I think, right?
You are.
Yeah.
And I
complained to the kitchen about that.
I actually listened to that show when I was getting the screenshot. And Tuttle, I was going to give you a shout out as far as like Tuttle's not on the show, but he did mention, and that's when I had the graph of the Top Shot moments that was down 98%. So I didn't even get to here's what's the worst thing is because I got the hook basically. I had a preset amount of time. However, the meeting had gone so long, we're up against like basically the hard out. And so I got rushed off the stage and I had all these slides about like photoshops that I had done. I had a whole page of Dan Bach photoshops that they took out because they were too racy. And then we had these other.
Is there like used boxers lying on the ground that Dan Bach's trying to sell people?
No, it was like
the
one where he's licking the ice cream, and it was like, "Why so salty?"
If they're getting rid of those slides, corporate is axing this show. Like,
they're coming
in the next 5 minutes.
So, anyways, yeah, we have 5.5 minutes. So part of that was also that we have a guy named Josh Morris who's like the most unbelievable Photoshop guy ever. And he has created probably thousands of Photoshops around some of the RG guys. And I put in there, basically that the Photoshops that I created had come back on me. However, I didn't get around to even mentioning this. So they just like went through the slides really quick at the end. And so if people go back and look at the slides, it makes it look like I did all these Photoshops of myself, which is just like, this guy's a jerk, just Photoshops himself all the time. And it was definitely bombed the town hall. People liked the beginning of it. And I think people actually enjoyed seeing me not be able to complete the meeting.
See, so I missed that last part because
RotoGrinders.
I hate
that was part of
situations, and it had turned very, very awkward with her trying to get David to stop talking. So I just got up and left the room because I couldn't deal with it anymore. But the other to set it up, really, they didn't like make it clear this was an employee spotlight. It was just like thrown in with part of the meeting, like, all right, very serious business talk, very serious, and they were like going to people for very serious business talks, and they're like, all right, and next up is David Kitchen. And then he's just doing a biography. It was really interesting.
But it is crazy, though, because like Grinders Live realized that we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of Grinders Live. And the Swolecast, here's what I figured out about the Swolecast.
The Swolecast.
Swolecast is the second oldest live show next to Grinders Live as far as continuous. Like there is not but anyways, going back to that.
Rest in peace when they decide to not fund the second longest running show.
Tuttle being on that his video wasn't working. So sometimes Tuttle's video would not work. And
Not,
so I put
not
a
Tuttle.
picture. I put a picture of Pete impersonating Tuttle into that slide. And when I saw it, when I watched the show, we're like, oh, that Pete guy's pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty good what he did. And it was pretty funny just to go back and watch it.
He did compliment you quite a bit, Pete. And yeah, and the addition you have brought to the Swolecast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Dave.
More and more.
I brought him up.
More and more people
you know,
are
Peter
saying that the show actually got better when Silva big timed us.
Right. And said that, you know, I've enjoyed pouring into Davis and Peter and all these other guys that have now made it massively into the industry. But
did you mention the words road to 10K on the presentation?
I didn't get a chance to. I had like a few words, and by the time I got to anything relevant, we were fast forward. Like, also, there's like just a slide that's got Top Shot moments, and on the other slide's like 3 Bored Apes. And so it's like someone's like, "Whoa, you had all those Bored Apes?" And I'm like, "Oh, didn't get to the punchline."
That's pretty good.
All right.
Hang on, Kitchen. You did what is on the actual menu at this Super Bowl party? Are all 3 of us missing this? Tuttle, are you going?
No, I'm out.
I'm not.
So what are we missing at the party, Kitchen?
Just basic food, like good food, like like, you know, typical Super Bowl food. I will give one little behind the scenes look though. Yesterday, DB looked at the menu and I would give credit to DB because he's you know, he wants everyone to have a really good time. So the one thing that he's like, this might be a little bit too much was for vegetables. It was a ridiculous amount of money for vegetables at the Super Bowl party. So he said maybe we could cut down on the vegetables. So that's how you know that DB's a player coach, is because he's been in the streets before. He knows.
Well, the last Super Bowl, the last RotoGrinders one that I was at right before the pandemic, there was a run on food. And I remember a conversation of Cal, like talking with their staff, being like, we got to get more food out there. Like, you guys figure this out. It was like, you need to put in that order about a week ago.
That was at like that pool place, right? The place with the pool tables.
Billiards place.
Yeah.
That place actually got blown up.
Yeah, that was underwhelming with the food. The food there.
Davis, sad, never made it to a Super Bowl party. He was going to, and then corporate made him work on the weekends.
Hey, Davis, is Alejandro Garnacho going to score a goal today, or what?
Yeah, I'm captaining him. That's what I was just doing.
Before we get canceled, would you like to take your final thought to maybe, I don't know, admit that Frisco Josh was right with a lot of stuff he was saying about crypto?
I mean, Josh is right about a couple things about crypto. It is a space full of grifters, but the main problem that Josh has is he doesn't get it. The biggest issue, like Josh is,
he's right about a lot of things, but the main problem is he's wrong about everything.
No. I think there is a large intersection. The Venn diagram of things that I would agree with, like never crypto people about, is actually pretty big. But that's because I'm such a Bitcoiner, and Bitcoiners and no coiners probably have more in common than Bitcoiners and altcoin people. I would imagine.
That was more credit than I thought you would give him, as far as he's right about.
I have long maintained. I mean, Josh and I are on the same side against the grifters and the criminals.
Yeah, just probably more prevalent than you thought.
As someone who once tweeted out a link telling your followers to buy golden pup NFTs, do you consider yourself one of those who said grifters?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to my next payday. But you have to, like, that's true of everyone in the world. Never trust anyone, because everyone's just trying to generate more capital.
Capitalism. All right. Final thoughts. Tuttle, do you have a terrible take for us?
Not really.
Yeah. What's the terrible take? What's everyone's favorite Super Bowl bet? That's the great way. What's everyone's favorite Super Bowl bet?
I'm not in a legal sports betting state, so I have not looked yet.
You can drive to one. I'm
I can
driving
drive
to one.
I hit a deer driving back from placing a bet at one point in time, so that's kind of hampered my inhibitions to go drive because it was more costly. My take I put on the expert survey is my hot take is Quez Watkins scores a 50+ yard touchdown. That's about as high.
I mean, total. If you play that way and he does, like, you could solo ship the Millie Maker.
No, the odds of there being a legitimate lineup that solo ships is just.
Hey, Brian Jester did it. Brian Jester did it.
Okay, my favorite is probably AJ Brown over receiving yards. Okay,
do you have a number on that?
That's so 71.5. Oh, sorry.
No,
I ruined it.
It was 70.5. I guess I got it at 70.5. I guess Davis was a little late on that.
They call him Vegas. They call him Vegas Dave. Yeah.
Probably 74.5 after this show. Peter?
Yeah, I think like my favorite bets are the ones where you basically take a second mortgage out on your house to bet that there's not going to be a safety in the game, and then you just get a really fun sweat for the entire game.
That I like that angle.
Bales wrote that up once. He's like, yeah, you need a little bit of a big bankroll to realize the value in this one. But you know what, Kitchen? Yeah. I think a fun sweat would be Zach Pascal over 5.5 receiving yards. That just seems like a very fun way to spend my Super Bowl. Hoping Zach Pascal. I got a better one in that same category for you. I bet this one every year just because it's a great sweat. Over 2.5 players to throw a pass. And I would say these are probably the two teams in a Super Bowl where you're like,
that was going to be mine.
Are you going to do the Sammy Reed version? The white boy version?
Yes, I can't. Sammy really tried to get himself canceled. And then my other favorite one is Kadarius Toney. FanDuel has him 150 to 1 for Super Bowl MVP.
Dude, I was cracking up listening to your Gilcast when Nate was like, I'm not doing that. I need like 25 to 1 to bet that. And you're like, it's 150
I was
to 1.
Like, Nate's like, I can't. It's like, I got to get there. Yeah. I mean, it's like if Kadarius Toney stays healthy for the entirety of this game, his true price should be like 30 to 1 or whatever. It's like whatever.
Big if.
Obviously that's why he's priced like this. But I mean, by kickoff, Kadarius Toney is going to be 50 to 1 to win Super Bowl MVP because all the virgins are going to bet it.
I'm waiting for the Kadarius Toney yards to go up, and I'm gonna whatever it is, I'm gonna bet the under. It's gonna be an easy one.
Yeah, totally.
Wasn't it?
You're
wasn't it at like
smarter
16
than
and
all
a half?
these people betting you. Who cares, dude? He's going.
It's the public.
He's going 9, 115, and 2. Just accept it,
Davis. It's bad when you become the square. All right. Final thought, Davis. Though, do you have a final thought before we're out of here?
I just really hope the Kansas City Chiefs play a good, clean cut. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's fine if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl because
that's right.
Boomer Sooner. So never forget. In any outcome of any sporting event, I can always find a way to make it a win for myself.
I want a picture so bad of Davis wearing the Boomer helmet while the dual Cowboys Chiefs jersey.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Donna Mattek over here.
That's pretty good.
Peter, final thought.
Yeah, Aaron, I'll ask Tuttle this question. How do you think this tweet would do if I wrote this? Fine, I'll say it. Donna Kelsey needs to get knocked down a peg.
I think
she's on her high horse out there. Give that some credit, man.
Save that one in the chamber. You got to tweet that during the game when everyone's on their phone. I'm telling you, 150 views, 30 retweets, 587 likes.
So I mean, I've come into some
getting out of control.
I've come into some chats also where people are getting sick of Travis Kelce as well. Like thinking that he's just too much of a bro and just, kind of.
It's a pretty consensus opinion about him through the years.
Pull this up real quick, Sosa. I just saw this tweet come across. Donna Kelsey, mom of Travis and Jason, asked the first question at the Goodell presser. Like, what?
Oh yeah, she's feeling it. You mentioned the heat checks earlier.
Read this
Kelsey
comment.
is heat checking.
Please delete this tweet. That is the ex-wife that Travis Jason shared. What? There's a QAnon for Donna Kelsey?
They're Donna Kelsey truthers.
This country, dude. We're never getting back to normal.
Okay, if you made it this far, Tuttle, you already gave your terrible take. Do you want to give a final thought?
No, I Eagle Smash is the best way to construct.
All right. Here's if you made this far, I got a little nugget for you. We have a best of Swolecast coming out very soon.
Dave
right
knows
now,
the color of the Gatorade, and he's about to announce it at an hour and 6 minutes into this show.
No, I don't, but it's blue. Yeah, it's good. It's about 10 minutes in length. Sosa has spent the past 3 weeks carefully curating this, so it's going to be good with the amount of time that he spent on it. So with that being said, appreciate everyone that has listened, watched, liked. At the beginning of the season, we were like 2,500. Now we're like almost double that as far as followers go, subscribers. So appreciate those that have stuck with us. You guys are the real ones. And we'll see you next time, whenever that is, here on the Swolecast from RotoGrinders.com. Peace.